have the green flag, and we have racing here at the Iowa Speedway. 3 abreast, 4 abreast down into turn 1, running the low line, and Palou trying to scamper away already as the field gets underway for race 2.
Watching Joseph Newgarden, he wants to make quick work of those top 3 cars. He's already up to 3rd. He's already deposed.
There's a big hit.
Turn 4.
Underneath our camera position, and that is Devlin DeFrancesco.
Is that McLaughlin as well? It is McLaughlin.
See if we can figure out what happens. There is Scott McLaughlin in that light blue Gallagher car, just hanging out high, and unfortunately Devlin just loses it and clips the back of Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, you're right, T-Bell. Just nowhere he could go.
Palou punches it, and Rosenquist tries to go with him, but keep your eye on Will Power just behind David Malukas. And Scott Dixon has a look at Pato O'Ward, and O'Ward himself wants to get past Connor Daly, who fared so well in yesterday's running here in Iowa.
These two are fighting for the same job for next year. Power and Malukas side by side in turn 3, but Will Power really making it tough for Malukas, giving him just enough room to the high side.
And Lil David's not letting it go, tries to keep his foot stuck in, but Power has the shorter line, and now he has the position.
We see Newgarden now on the inside of Rosenquist. Can he keep it stuck on the bottom? Keep his foot in it. Rosenquist trying to keep the momentum up on the high side.
Newgarden, who felt so aggrieved yesterday to have lost out on the victory, which was his all the way through until those final stops. Just that in-lap from Newgarden ultimately costing him what would have been the first win of the season, and Power has a problem. Power's dropping right back.
Not sure if he got up into the gray or he has a powertrain issue. It looks to be no drive for the number 12 car.
Trying to get to the bottom here. Trying to get to the bottom now.
Yellows are out, caution is out, and that is Stingray Rob into the barriers.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Does now take us to green as the Meyer Shanks pop out, and so too does Scott Dixon, having a look up the inside of both Armstrong and of Rosenquist. Our winner last time out in mid-Ohio, Dixon on the move, so too the ECR of Alexander Rossi.
Newgarden looks to be to the outside of Alex Palou, and there he goes. The move to the front. Newgarden grabs the lead back.
Beautiful from Joseph Newgarden. The king of corn country retakes his rightful position at the front of the field. Daly so fighty yesterday, spent so much of the race in the podium positions, goes to the outside of Scott Dixon, takes that high line, keeps his foot planted. Dixon will have to yield. Daly will take the position. Joseph Newgarden's just rolled the dice, and it's come up snake eyes. Decided to take the early stop, came in, and just as he did, Marcus Ericsson crashes coming out of turn 4, bringing out the full course caution. There's Newgarden going in. There's Ericsson going high.
Looks eerily similar
like
to Kirkwood yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's listen. Listen for the floor. Yeah, that's something went wrong there.
You can see a skid mark coming off, so maybe a right rear tire failure.
Palou takes us back to green from Malukas, O'Ward, Rosenquist, Daly and Armstrong, and immediately 2-3 wide, and the ECR's making moves.
4 wide almost further back, now 3 as we see those Prema cars going high, making moves.
How about Connor Daly sending it once again to the back of Felix Rosenquist with huge momentum. Look for Daly, looks inside now. Great job again on the restart.
Has the toe and has the advantage. Lovely stuff. Got a crash, but got yellows out, and that's quite a big one. I think it's a Prema.
Callum
out of Ilott again.
That was right in front of Alex Palou, our race leader.
O'Ward has to come around Felix Rosenquist. Stops perfectly on his marks. His new tyres, tear-offs, another 5 of power awarded. Just a slight drop from Georgia.
No changes for Alex Palou, but as fuel and tires for him, and he's going to lead the field off pit lane in front of Malukas.
We go back to green, and Malukas already over the back of Alex Palou, looking up the inside of the race leader. or who was the race leader, but Palou keeps his foot stuck in and takes the offensive now to Kyle Kirkwood. Palou wants to get it done immediately around the outside of his championship rival, but Kirkwood keeps it stuck in and will run him high. Palou, though, will not let it go, as he didn't do with Malukas, as he hasn't done now with Kirkwood. These two rivals going wheel to wheel, corner by corner, and still Kirkwood fights with Alex Palou, and still Carl Kirkwood keeps to the inside, and still Carl Kirkwood keeps the advantage, and now Palou's coming for him around the outside, and will have the pace, and should have the position if Kirkwood yields. But he won't, and Kirkwood remains with him, but now Palou does indeed retake the lead of this race, and Malukas looking to take advantage of Kirkwood losing his pace and having a check-up, and Malukas sweeps through into second. Newgarden goes for it, puts the move on Malukas, and that's second place for Joseph Newgarden. What an astonishing fight back. Now within a second of the race lead. Now Newgarden has the run. Now Newgarden takes the move. Now Newgarden runs for the lead of the race. Wheel to wheel and side by side. Palou goes high and Newgarden leads.
Malukas goes through by Palou as well, up to second place, and Newgarden back to the point. Now it's a Chevy 1-2.
The Chevy runners have come in to stop. First Connor Daly, then David Malukas, then the man who was leading this race, Joseph Newgarden, and Newgarden has exited the pits, believe it or not, behind David Malukas. So this the onboard for Newgarden stop, and this is the reason why he fell behind Malukas. There was a bobble and a slow getaway.
Still clear.
And that is the car of Herta. And once again, it's a front right. Is that a front right failure again?
Wow.
Oh,
all
boy.
three Andretti cars.
Let's have a little look at the replay.
There it goes. You can see the car have a dramatic response right away, and you got to think this is setup related at this point.
Armstrong tucked up right underneath his rear wing, and now we go back to green. Dixon having a look at his teammate, and don't forget these two made contact earlier, and Lundgaard goes to make the move immediately, gets past Schwartzman and has a look at Dixon, and Rosenqvist wants in on the action as well now on the inside of Robert Schwartzman onto the mini backstretch, tucked up underneath the rear wing of Christian Lundgaard. It's Felix Rosenqvist hoping to make it a 1, 2, 3, 4 for Honda.
And Joseph Newgarden was able to clear David Malukas.
And here comes Schwartzman back against Lundgaard. Schwartzman up to fourth.
Oh, a little wiggle there from the number 2 of Joseph Newgarden. That's going to give Malukas a run off of 2.
And O'Ward wants to take it as well. Malukas does get through. O'Ward taking the advantage, and Newgarden drops back.
Malukas now on the outside of Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist falling back as Newgarden pulls out, trying to go on the inside of O'Ward, but O'Ward holds the position.
We are on the last lap. Palou has struggled with traffic all the way through the day. Dixon senses an opportunity. Dixon looks to take a move, but Palou has it covered. Palou will lead his teammate home. It will be a Ganassi 1-2. Alex Palou will take the victory in Iowa.
Up next, it's the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto, Sunday, July 20th at noon Eastern on Fox.
Here, let's try that now. With that, welcome to another episode of the Push to Pass podcast. I am Derik Vance, and as you see there, momentarily, I will bring in the other two hosts that make this show go. Obviously, it's not me; it's them, folks. But a lot to discuss, a lot to unpack this evening. Obviously, we have a Iowa doubleheader that I think there's a lot of mixed emotions coming from that, and we'll talk about those here in just a few seconds. Obviously, we'll have my 5 takeaways, and I think you're going to be shocked this evening that there's one that probably deserves to be in there. But for some reason, while I was typing this up earlier today, I just completely forgot it till about 30 minutes ago. So hopefully Michael and his winners and losers has that particular topic. Also, we'll have interviews not only from race 1, but race 2. We'll go through both race results. We'll take a look at the point standings and everybody's favorite segment, the race picks, because things now, I think with us changing how we did our race picks, where we could only take one driver for one race, has really tightened things up there, to say the least. Also, too, on the back end of the show, we do have the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto race to preview. That's coming up this weekend. Also, too, Mike is stuck in not traffic, but travel. So he's not going to be able to make it this evening. He did send a couple messages for the betting segment that we'll go through. And then we'll have the first look at the weather this weekend in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And then a couple newsworthy items that have popped up this week as well. But before we get into all of that, let's say hello and bid adieu to the other two hosts of the Push to Pass podcast. First, Josh, how are you this evening?
Doing fantastic. Can't wait to talk about these two races and the overwhelming feelings that we have coming from this weekend. So let's get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we do that, we have one more item of business to take care of. Let's bring Michael in as well. Michael, how are you this evening?
Not too bad. Pretty tired, honestly, but been a busy weekend, a busy start to the week. But yeah, ready to talk some IndyCar racing with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to it as we discussed. First, we are going to take a look, obviously, like we talked about, with what took place this past weekend at the Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. We had two different races. We had one Saturday evening. Everything kind of got pushed back to Saturday, as you've seen Josh's headline down at the bottom there, Run for the Hills, Dorothy, here comes the tornadoes. And then, we had a race on Sunday around 1 p.m. So let's get into, as we usually do, we'll get into my 5 takeaways. You can find these over at yournews.com under the auto racing section, and then also the Push to Pass WordPress site that you'll see down at the scrolling at the bottom of the screen momentarily throughout the show. All right, takeaway number 5, and I think for anybody that's been paying attention to, well, before we get into that, huge congratulations, obviously, as always, goes out to not only Pato Award and the whole number 5 Arrow McLaren Chevrolet crew, along with Alex Palou and the whole, it seems like we've been talking about him all year, and the whole number 10 DHL Honda Chip Ganassi racing crew for collecting wins this past weekend at the Iowa Speedway for the Zinc 275 and Farm to Finish 275, respectively. Now we'll get into my 5 takeaways. And if you're new to the show, what we do here is I'll go through my 5 takeaways from the race. Josh and Michael will definitely give their opinion, right or wrong, indifferent to what I think. And we just go from there. And then Michael will have a winners and losers section here when we are done. But takeaway number 5 for me, if the graphic does go up on screen, there we go. Chevrolet, ladies and gentlemen, stand up and give them a round of applause. To say Chevrolet has had a rough season, I think, is a huge understatement. And I think both of you would agree on this. Obviously, before Award was able to capture Chevrolet's first win in the 2025 NTT INDYCAR Series season, believe it or not, it has been 314 days dating back to the 2024 Hy-Vee Milwaukee Mile 250 race number 2. Since Chevrolet's last win, which was picked up by Scott McLaughlin. Not only did Chevrolet pick up their first win of the season, Chevy drivers swept the podium on Saturday with Joseph Newgarden bringing his number 2 Astemo Team Penske Chevy to the checkered flag in the runner-up spot. his 9th career podium at Iowa, while teammate Will Power in the number 12 Verizon Chevrolet completed the podium in P3, his 7th time on the Iowa podium. Like I said, it's been a tough season for Chevrolet for obvious reasons, and even their win on Saturday evening, early Saturday evening, Chevrolet still finds themselves down 208 points in the Manufacturers Championship with just 5 races left. Obviously, it's well documented that Chevrolet's chances of winning the Engine Manufacturers Championship are on life support. But talk about Chevrolet being able to pick up their first victory of the season Saturday evening.
It was great for Chevrolet. I mean, they got to be they've got to have a sigh of relief, the fact that they could actually pull out a win. I mean, it's great for Chevrolet, but I mean, I know Chevy probably wasn't looking at it as, it's not our engine. They're probably not looking at it as, they're looking at it as it's not our engines, it's the drivers. So the drivers are making Chevrolet look bad. But I got to say, on Saturday, I mean, I looked up one time, and I'm pretty sure one time there was 1 through 5 were all Chevys towards the end of the race. So kudos to Chevy, and good job of getting Chevy drivers getting out there and actually performing this week.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it all year about Chevy and their woes this year, and Josh, I think you're right. It's not necessarily the power that Chevy's bringing, but kind of the strategy. And honestly, it's more the strategy of Alex Pallot's team that's really killing Chevy this year. But yeah, to see a Chevrolet back in victory lane, I know we know a Chevy exec that's probably pretty happy with the results from Saturday for sure.
Yes, we do. And again, revert back to that specific Chevy exec in Detroit, and their famous words: "What do we have to do to get a win?" That is exactly right there, to say the least. All right, my 4th takeaway from this past weekend at Iowa: tough luck for Joseph Newgarden. Heading into the Iowa doubleheader last weekend, it was the odds-on favorite to win at least one, if not both, of the doubleheader races at Iowa this past weekend had to be Joseph Newgarden. But as the story goes, Newgarden's luck, as he has lack thereof all year, played out the way it has all year. Newgarden led 232 laps before Pato O'Ward outdueled him for the win on Saturday, and then pit strategy plagued him on Sunday. 2025, I believe, has to be a year that Joseph Newgarden wants to quickly forget. Guys, talk about, again, the racing gods not on the side of Joseph Newgarden this past weekend.
I'd say they weren't on his side as far as winning, but as far as having a successful weekend, I mean, walking away with those 2 finishes have got to be great. Great, in the back of his brain, he's got to be like, oh my God, I finally finished a race where I wasn't towards the back or in the middle, So, I mean, yes, he led a lot of laps. He didn't get the win, which is what he ultimately wants, but for him to finish where he finished in both races and be right there competitively, it just shows that he was able to go out and, like we always say, he's good on ovals, and he showed how good he is. He just couldn't put it away this weekend. 2 drivers were just much better than him.
Yes, I totally agree with Josh there. He had a good weekend, but his attitude stinks. I know they've not had a great year, but I mean, there was some positives the whole team could have taken from this weekend, and he's just so negative about it. His post-race interviews were horrible, and I don't know, I've seen a lot of backlash on social media about it, and his his demeanor isn't worthy of sponsors right now, and I can't believe if I'm a sponsor looking to sponsor someone, his attitude would push me far away from that. So those are definitely things, he has to look at. I think he had a great run going, and pit strategy kind of hurt him. Slow pit stop, really hurt him as well. Cautions on Sunday hurt him as well, but that's racing. I mean, you win some, you lose some that way, and he's won several that way with pit strategy and caution. So to kind of not even acknowledge Pato. I mean, Pato raced him clean and had a great stop, and he was there all day on Saturday, and it's hard to admit defeat, but he is just. I mean, it's just I don't know how else to put it other than just kind of throwing a fit like a crybaby. So I wasn't a fan of his post race comments at all.
With all that said, and again, I don't have any insider information, and we all know that Will Power is in a contract year. Would it surprise you, either one of you, that it's Joseph Newgarden on the outs at Team Penske and not Will Power?
No way. There's no way they're going to get rid of him. 2-time Indy 500 winner. No, he's not on the hot seat. And I think that's why he can act the way he can, because that is, I mean, his team owner's the owner of the series, so the sponsors are there. I don't know. For me, it looks like it's just someone who's got a ride, and he's great. I mean, he's won the Indy 500 twice now, back to back before this year. So he does have a reason to gloat and have that prestige. But at the same time, when things aren't going your way, you see Will Power cracking under the pressure. At Mid Ohio. Now you got Joseph Newgarden. The only one there on that team that right now I feel is still being respectful is Scott McLaughlin. I mean, he crashes and he's still, head above water, takes time for interviews, is polite and respectful. So, just because you're driving for, Roger Penske and he owns a series and he owns the team doesn't mean you have to be, a crybaby about, having a bad race. Let's remember, too, that these guys drive race cars for a living. Most people would die to do that. So, just because you race, I mean, one of my favorite drivers ever said that. He said, "Don't feel sorry for me. I get to drive race cars for a living." So I look at it that way quite a bit when I look at these athletes that get to drive race cars for a living.
I take it from a different perspective. I take it that he's accustomed to doing better. Yes, he's cracking under the pressure, but maybe this is just what Joseph Newgarden is. Maybe this is just his frustration coming out. And we always say we want to see the drivers' personalities, and maybe this is part of his personality. He's a very competitive guy. So if he's not winning and he's not, Ricky Bobby said it best: if you're not first, you're last. And that's probably how he looked at it. He was there all weekend, and then all of a sudden he couldn't finish it. His pit crew failed him in the pits on I think one or two occasions. I mean, this weekend, a lot of the pits failed their drivers just by, tires not getting put on. So I look at it as he's got a competitive fire. And yes, he may not be the most cordial person, but he's showing who he is and how competitive he is. And, we say we want to see personalities, but, do you want to see a fake personality, or do you want to see somebody that's real? And I think this past weekend and over the last year, he's starting to come out and show that he's got fire in his bones. He may not be out there showing the best, but I do think he's got competitiveness in him, and that's what's showing right now.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I don't think Roger Penske, the captain, gets rid of Joseph Newgarden either. I do believe that it's Will Power who's on the outs, unfortunately. But it will be interesting to see the rest of the way. What kind of season Joseph Newgarden finishes with. All right, third takeaway from this weekend. I felt that Chip Ganassi, you're talking about a strong weekend. Well, I felt that came from the Chip Ganassi racing camp. With the current reigning and defending series points champion in his stable, Chip Ganassi Racing had a solid Iowa doubleheader weekend. On Saturday, Alex Palou was able to capture his 10th top 5 of the season. Teammate Scott Dixon in the number 9 PNC Bank Honda grabbed his 9th top 10 of the season, while Kiffin Simpson in the number 8 Journey Honda came home 18th. Sunday was just the same, just more consistency. Palou ends up winning the race, obviously. Scott Dixon finished second to give Chip Ganassi's organization another 1-2 weekend for the second time in 8 days, the third time this season, while Simpson drove to a P13 finish. Josh, you're going to like this. I hated to say this, but who has it better than Chip Ganassi? No one right now. After the Iowa doubleheader, not only did Chip Ganassi entries finish 1-2, but the current point standings have Chip Ganassi drivers 1 and 3. So again, I hate to say this, Josh, because it comes from one of the football factions that I can't stand. But when you look around IndyCar, who has it better than Chip Ganassi Racing right now?
Nobody. Chip Ganassi, they're having one heck of a season. We talk about Palou all the time, but I mean his teammates are having one heck of a season also. So there's what else can you say about Chip Ganassi? I think, in my opinion, they are the cream of the crop. They are the number one. They're better than Penske, and I mean that's hard to say sometimes because Penske is such a big name. But Chip Ganassi Racing is just outshining them this year, and Palou is doing something that we have never seen done before, or at least I've never seen it done before, and probably neither of us have, because I don't think any of us were alive when AJ Foyt was doing what he was doing. So one heck of a season for Chip Ganassi. What can I say?
Yes, Chip Ganassi Racing is definitely on a hot streak, and Alex Palou has actually tied Paul Tracy and Jimmy Murphy for 7 wins in a season. 10 is the record held by AJ Foyt. That the last time it was done, for 7 was Paul Tracy in 2003. So, can Palou get to 7? Or can he get from 7 to 10 and maybe even 11? It's always possible. I mean, this year has been crazy the way, Palou has been. But, yeah, Dixon, finished strong this weekend as well. So, Chip Ganassi is, like I keep saying, ever since Chip's kind of gotten out of NASCAR and, it seems like the IndyCar program has just continued to build and build and build speed and momentum. So, be interesting to see if Palou can make it to 10 or even 11 and break AJ Foyt's record.
Yeah, a record that has stood for quite a long time. And who would have thought that Alex Palou may have the potential to tie it or break it this season. All right, my second to last takeaway from this past weekend. We talked about them, or I talked about them, saying that they needed to show me more. And Arrow McLaren the last few weeks has done that with another bounce back weekend at Iowa. For the second straight race weekend, Arrow McLaren was able to flex their Chevrolet powered muscles. On Saturday, Award, in his 100th series start, was able to capture their first victory of the season, his 8th of his career, while Christian Lundgaard in the number 7 Velo Chevrolet came home 21st. and Nolan Siegel, and we're going to have some news on him later in the show, in the number 6 NTT Data Chevrolet, unfortunately made contact with the wall and finished 24th. Well, Sunday flipped the script a little bit because that was a little more successful for the Arrow McLaren drivers. Award grabbed his 7th top 5 of the season, while Christian Lundgaard captured his 8th top 10 of the season. And unfortunately, Nolan Siegel, due to his wreck, was unable to compete in Sunday's race. This coming Sunday, still up in the air. We'll talk about that when we get to the news and notes section. So, fellas, Arrow McLaren kind of picking up the slack a little bit from a up and down, I think, to say the least, 2024 season in these last few weekends.
Yeah, great weekend for Arrow, especially Pato being able to pick up a win and bring home the aforementioned, Chevy's first win of the season. So, and love the sombrero, having your own monogram sombrero with the with Arrow McLaren in it was awesome. So, congratulations to Pato Award, and hopefully, Zach Brown and the rest of the Arrow McLaren can start to build on top of this and take it into next season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep the momentum. Obviously, Lundgaard had some momentum earlier in the year, and now Pato has been consistent all year. As much as Lundgaard's got a lot of the talk this year. I know, especially for me, I was pretty high on Lundgaard to begin with. Pato's been just consistently Pato. Not winning a lot, but just consistent top 5, top 10 finishes. So it'd be interesting to see if they can continue to run up front here in Toronto.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see what Arrow McLaren has if they can put together a 3rd week in a row of strong finishes. All right, my last takeaway, if you were, you don't get to see this, but the thumbnail for the episode is these two gentlemen right here. They were the class act in both Saturday and Sunday. Like I said, as I mentioned previously, Pato Award was able to not only capture Chevrolet's first win of the season, but Arrow's first win of the season as well. And like I mentioned, it was Pato's 8th career win in just 100 starts. Award's margin of victory was 0.2352 of a second. That is the closest Iowa finish since 2007 when Dario Franchitti edged Marco Andretti by just 0.0861 of a second. As for Palou, and I tried to find something, but the best I could come up with is, as for Palou, the beat goes on. As Michael pointed out earlier, Alex Palou does become the first driver since Al Unser Jr. in 1994 to win 7 of the first 12 races of a season. Unser Jr. only won 1 more race that season. Palou has 5 more opportunities, which means he is within striking distance of the all-time record. Now, I know Josh is a huge statistic person. Michael is too. Ready for this? The win of Palou's on Sunday, he has completed the IndyCar cycle, which I didn't know existed. This year's Indianapolis 500 champion, along with winning races on street courses, road courses, super speedways, and now short ovals. That is the IndyCar cycle. I did not know that until I found that out this past weekend. Oh, by the way, with Palou's win on Sunday, he pushes his series points lead to an almost seemingly insurmountable 129 points over Pato Award with 5 races to go. So huge wins both for Pato Award on Sunday and Alex Palou obviously on Sunday.
Yes, congratulations to both of them. I mean, we keep congratulating Alex Palou, so I'm going to focus more on focus more on Pato. Congratulations to Pato for bringing home this win, and it's been an up and down season for him, but he always seems to eke out a win here and there. But he's, as much as I'm going to congratulate him, I'm also going to talk to him. He's got to be more consistent. You can't just win. If you want to be a champion, you have to pat yourself after what Alex Palou's doing. So Pato, congratulations on the win, but don't get lax. We've got Toronto now. We still have Nashville. There's plenty of races. Go out, win a couple more, and your star will keep rising.
Yeah, Josh, couldn't agree more. This one win a season isn't going to win you a championship. Consistency is key, but when Pato's only winning one race a year and Palou's winning 7, you're not going to win a championship. And it's hard right now to beat Palou, but you have to just keep chipping away and chipping away and chipping away at it. And he is consistent. That's one thing. They say when you're running close to the front, you're gonna wins will come. Well, the wins come, but he has to keep being up front and sitting second in the points. I mean, he's the best of the rest. Let's be honest. So Pato, great personality. He's got the fan base. He's definitely one of, if not the most popular driver in the IndyCar series, and he does a lot to help build the sport. It's good to see that from him. His social media presence is always good. So, and then how much more can we talk about Palou before people start tuning out? So we'll just save Palou for later.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are my 5 takeaways. I know you guys are probably wondering, there's one that's missing and that could probably be interchanged. You can maybe even have 6, but I'm going to let Michael speak on that because I'm sure he's going to cover it, but it has to do with the lack of attendance, simply the lack of attendance. But Michael, I know you're ready for winners and losers, so get to it.
Yeah, we'll start with the loser. Number one loser of the week has got to be the attendance. I think Sukup, is that what the title sponsor of this? I think those were just the workers that work for them. My goodness, I haven't seen a race. I mean, they should have just handed out tickets to anyone that drove past the speedway on the interstate at that rate. What an absolute disaster. I seen so much on social media. 6,000 tickets were sold. I mean, does that even pay for the registration fee for the racetrack? I highly doubt it. I have a whole list of people to blame for this. First off, we'll start with the IndyCar Series. I remember right before the race at Gateway, we got a letter from Doug. Hey, make sure you head out to the 4-hour drive right down the street. Well, where was the letter this week? There was no letter sent out this week. At least I didn't get one. I look at Iowa Speedway. God forbid they put something on their social media about the IndyCar Series coming to the racetrack. I know NASCAR owns the track now, but my God, let's at least promote a race that's coming to your speedway. The sponsor, Sukup, they didn't do a good enough job promoting it either. So, I mean, there's a whole series of people that are responsible for the lack of attendance at this event. Hy-Vee did a wonderful job promoting this, but I sent out a group text to you guys about Matt Archuleta getting some responses from people that didn't even know the race. The people that live in Des Moines, which is not too far from Newton, Iowa, didn't even know there was a race going on that weekend. No promotion, anything like that. And that in the same market is an absolute travesty. And for 6,000, 7,000 tickets to be sold, I'd love to know what walk-up day of tickets, but it doesn't look like much more than that. So what a complete failure. And I put it as far as this. I don't think the IndyCar Series should even attempt to go back to Iowa. I really don't. I think it's an absolute travesty that the Speedway didn't even put anything on their social media for promotion at all. I think it's an absolute joke that the Speedway isn't promoting an event. And if the Speedway doesn't want to promote it, then why are we there? Just to add another race? We can find other races to go to. If the Speedway doesn't want them there, then why are we even there? So that's the biggest loser of the weekend. I mean, and the TV numbers, we'll just go right into that. They're just as worse. They're just as bad. Last year, it was 862,000 for Sunday's race, and we're down to 719. Saturday was 576,000 people. So, I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't even know anymore what to say about the TV numbers, because every week we're on Fox. I don't really know. I'd love to get your guys' take on those two topics alone, because that's a big part of why we can't get growth in the sport right now.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I commented on the sparse crowd Saturday, and like we said, what a difference a sponsor makes. And I wasn't even aware that Iowa Speedway didn't put anything on their social media. And if they didn't, then NASCAR, IndyCar needs to be talking to someone and figuring out. But IndyCar should have known this beforehand. If they, if you're in charge of the social media for IndyCar, how would you not know that the track you're going to didn't put anything out? Sponsor, advertising the race. I mean, what are you doing? I don't even know what Sukup is. Is it like a farming equipment? Is it couldn't tell you. So it was a miserable failure this past weekend, and I could probably see why Hy-Vee backed out, because they probably were losing so much money, I would imagine, somehow, some way, and just didn't want to sponsor it anymore. And it's a shame. The only thing I can think of is maybe instead of having two races, go to one. Maybe just combine one race and see how that goes. But it's just terrible. Family owned and operated. Oh, it's a grain storage. Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, what that doesn't Sukup doesn't tell me what it is, and I guarantee you, I can almost guarantee you, Sukup will not be sponsoring the race next year.
I wonder if that's pronounced Sukup, and the reason why I say that is they grew up Northwest Ohio. There was a family of farmers. Not saying this is them by any stretch of the imagination, but they spelled their name the exact same way, and they pronounced it Sukup. So I wonder if that's how that's pronounced. But to Michael's point, what he was talking about, I know on Monday I went into work and spoke with Josh, and my first question to him was, does a sponsor really make or matter that much? Because you've seen all of the groundwork that Hy-Vee put into to sponsor the races that they did last year, the promotions that they did at their stores, and then you have this. And not to blame Sukup by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know if maybe they were in over their head. Maybe, I don't think have they ever produced a racing event or promoted a racing event? I don't know, but it just seemed like to me that they were way over their head. And to Michael's point again, it's a shame that the Iowa Speedway did zero promoting of this race, or even helped Sukup Manufacturing Company promote any of this.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and talk about that, but I'll finish up the losers that I have for this past weekend. These two go hand in hand. It'd be Stingray Robb and Devlin DeFrancesco. Currently, Stingray Robb is 30 out of the leader circle for a team that's and they had a miserable weekend. Stingray had a crash, and then on their way home, their hauler caught on fire on the interstate not far from the racetrack. So they're just having a bad week. So this week we definitely need to rally around Junco's Hauling or Racing. You know, had a rough stretch here, and like I said, the 77 is 30 points out of the leader circle. You know, the extra $1.2 million for the charter teams, you know, is a big thing, but you have to be in the top 22 in points for that, and they're 30 out. Devlin had a horrible weekend, crashed in race 2, finished 19th in the first race, and he's 35 points out of the leader circle. And as well as Louis Foster is running and Nolan Siegel's been running, it's going to be hard to get into there. So, you know, they're really going to have to put their head down and grind to make their way into that top 22 for the leader circle. You know, it's going to be hard. Another team that's had a good weekend and a bad weekend. Race 1 was really good. We talked about them already. Is Team Penske. You talked about Newgarden. Power had an engine failure in race 2. It's two race weekends in a row. Mid-Ohio and now Iowa. He's had an engine issue. And then poor Scott McLaughlin, he had a horrible weekend. Crashed in qualifying, started in the back in both races, then got caught up in race 2 with Devlin. So those are the losers I have for this weekend. Winners, we talked about Alex Palou and Pato Award, race winners. Big shout out to Marcus Armstrong, top 10 both races, on the podium race 2. Meyer Shank is on it. Just to go back to Team Penske, I wrote this down because I thought it was a good stat. Chip Ganassi has 2 drivers in front of them in points. Arrow has 2 drivers in front of them. Meyer Shank has both of their 2 cars in front of them. And Andretti has a car in front of the first Team Penske driver in points, which is Will Power. So I thought that was pretty interesting for that. And then my last winner of the weekend is Robert Schwartzman. From a guy who come from strictly road courses to his first oval being the Indianapolis 500 this year, getting a top 10 again on an oval, was running pretty well on Saturday before kind of the cautions fell late, and he ended up finishing in the back half of the top 20 or top 15. So, good for Schwartzman. He's kind of, progressing into the ovals pretty well. So, definitely the lead driver for Prema being, his first season, but having a teammate who's had, some experience in the IndyCar series, he's really outperforming Callum Ilott.
Yeah, good stuff there. And again, you can always find Michael's winners and losers weekly over at yournews.com in the auto racing section as well. All right, let's get into some driver interviews. First, let's hit the driver interviews from race 1 this past weekend.
Well, he worked for that. That is Scotty Mack, 27th to 4th today. How are you able to do that?
Hell yeah, George. I don't know. I needed that. We needed that. The guys and girls on my team, the way they put that XPEL Chevy together after the shunt, the car was magic to drive. And after the last few months, we needed that. So I thanked them. And then before the race, they all came up to me and said, Scott, just drive the piss out of it and see how it goes. And that's what I did. I don't know if I can say that on TV or whatever, but I'm just really proud of it. And God, I'm jacked up, and I'm actually the kind of, I want to start at the front, don't get me wrong, but, I'll take another, if I can get another one of these trophies, and we'll try and wheel it forward tomorrow.
Thanks, Scott. Great job.
Thank you, Fox Sports.
The year and Team Penske is 2, 3, 4, so what do you take away with this big rebound for the team today?
Yeah, oh man, we've always had the speed, just a very smooth day, I would say. Some good racing out there. It's the second lane, which is awesome. It's the second lane came in. I think everyone should thank Connor Daly for bringing it in, or at least showing us how you do it. Him and Ferrucci, man, they roll that outside really well. And I just watched Connor do it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So he taught me there. But yeah, solid day. I'm really happy with third. I just wanted to have a smooth day with no problems. And that's what I got. Hopefully tomorrow we can go for the win.
Yeah, it shows that tomorrow might be even more entertaining. Will Power.
Today, I know you're going to be disappointed not to have won. You led over 230 laps. This must give you confidence heading in tomorrow, though.
I don't know that it changes tomorrow. Just, Ward got track position there, and that was game over. Just simple as that. So, Stemmo car was quick. Team Chevy did a great job. Finally getting a win for Team Chevy is a big deal, and they should have had way more on the year. So, good to finally get one.
Congrats, buddy.
It's congratulations all around from his team. An incredible jump to your team as well. They deserve this. They worked so hard to do it. High fives all around as Pato O'Ward is victorious today. Not only that, but on your 100th start. How storybook is this?
This is great. We've been waiting for this one all year. It's crazy. My 50th race was also a win here in Iowa, and that's the only other win I have here. So it's a cool story. Great job by by my Aero McLaren guys and gals. This Chevy powered machine was, I think it's 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3 Chevy podium. So it was about time. I'm super happy. I'm the Chevy guy that gave them their first win this year. And Joseph's the master at these races. He rules around here. So I knew that we had to be spot on, and I had to be so precise on the in laps to beat him at his own game. So. This is awesome, and we have another chance tomorrow. It'd be really cool to double up.
You beat the king of corn country, as you alluded to, but how did you strategize under that last restart to able to hold him off those last 10 laps?
I mean, we've had so many duels, Joseph and I, but he has a percentage that comes out on top more. And today I was like, you know what, today is the day that changes. So it was great racing out there, and I had a lot of fun making that outside groove working whenever we were 4th and 5th, and as soon as we were behind him, we just kind of positioned ourselves to get it done.
Congratulations, Pato O'Ward victorious here in Iowa.
All right, let's take a look at the results from the first race on Saturday night. They should be up on your screen here. Obviously, Pato O'Ward, Joseph Newgarden, Will Power were 1, 2, 3. They were followed by Scott McLaughlin, Alex Palou, Christian Rasmussen, Connor Daly, Santino Ferrucci, Marcus Armstrong, and Scott Dixon rounded out your top 10. Then it was Graham Rahal, David Malukas, Colton Herta, Louis Foster, Marcus Erickson, Renus VK, Felix Rosenquist, Kiffin Simpson, Devlin DeFrancesco, and Robert Schwartzman rounded out the top 20. They were followed by Christian Lundgaard, Stingray Robb, Callum Ilott, Nolan Siegel, Alexander Rossi, Kyle Kirkwood, and Jacob Abel made up the first 27-car field on Saturday. All right, now we will go to some interviews from individuals after the race on Sunday.
Joseph Newgarden, I know yesterday was disappointing. I'm sure today even maybe more so. You did everything that you possibly could. What is it going to take just to get back into victory circle?
Well, we just got to keep doing what we are doing. Team Penske's working incredibly hard, the whole group. Yesterday was a good day for everybody. You could see the spirits lift, but they don't need to change what they're doing. They're doing a great job. They brought a fast car here again today, and our partner is Stemmo, Team Chevy. They're doing a lot of the right stuff. We just got to keep going.
And does that give you a lot of confidence heading into this next gaggle of races that you and your team, so many good things happening, maybe just waiting for something that perhaps is even out of your control just to fall into place?
Yeah, we just keep doing the same thing.
All right, thank you, Joseph.
Georgia, I have 4th and 5th place with David Malukas and Pato O'Ward, who are going to arrange things, your television producers as well. And I did want to ask you first, how do you come away from this? It's a great result, but you had a chance to win. On the last stop, you got in front of Newgarden.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way IndyCar is. It's part of the game. We decided to do the undercut. It tends to be a lot quicker. They waited out for a yellow, and unfortunately the yellow came out for them. So that's just how it is. We keep pushing. This is it's good for us. We've been on a consistent run ever since the 500. We've been on the upper trajectory, and the races, they're tough, but that's what makes IndyCar fun. We're always trying to play the guessing game and try to be up there. So we'll take this P4, hardest P4 I had to work for, and we'll take it to the next one.
Pato comes off a win, a top 5 today. Was there anything more available? Was that the best you had from where you started?
It was good fun today. That last restart was a lot of fun. We just got a bit hosed there by the yellow, and I just think today I wasn't as good through traffic as the guys that I was fighting. So it was a bit more of a struggle to keep up. I didn't feel as sporty as I did yesterday, but all in all, I think we salvaged we went from a top 10 to a top 5 in, I don't know, 8 laps or whatever. And I think that's, we should be happy with that after we were fighting for it the whole race.
When you made that last stop right before the caution came out, which benefited the Ganassis, did you need to pit for fuel or for tires?
No, we were covering the undercut that David had done, and obviously when we went out and I saw him lead car versus then Joseph and me, then I was like, oh, he's got it. He's going to win this. Because David was really, really fast today, as Joseph was as well. But on that last restart, we all got hosed by the same thing. So we all had to fight our way forward, and solid top 5.
Marcus Armstrong completes his first podium of the season on the grid before the race. You said, we'll see you on the podium, and you made it happen. How was this team able to do it?
Yeah, we made it happen. I was confident we were going to have a good day because last night we were finding our feet towards the end of the race, and we've been saving fuel for 2 races now, waiting for a situation like that there at the end. So I was very happy when I saw that yellow at the end. But overall, we've done an amazing job. I think that the number 66 Maya Shank crew have done an amazing job in pit lane as well. I think we were among the benchmark down here, so I'm really happy.
This is now your 6th top 10 in a row, your first podium of the season. Can you feel that momentum going?
Yeah, we're just getting better every single race. I'm gelling with my crew better and better every race. But this championship is so competitive. You need to be on it every single session, every single lap, every single session, just like Alex Palou is. So we're getting there. Slowly, we're getting there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Scott Dixon comes home second today. Earlier today, you said you just threw the kitchen sink at this, and it took a little while to figure out, but ultimately, at the end that you did, how did you guys do it?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of changes. We weren't really too sure how it was going to go. Obviously, we have an amazing engineering group here, and Brad and everybody, Chris did a phenomenal job to basically throw the kitchen sink at it. Yesterday, we were all kind of frustrated about not being able to use the high line, so we tried to fix that. And obviously, today, it took us a little bit to work it out, but once we did, the car was super fast. I think another stint, would have been kind of fun. We needed a longer race today, but kudos to everybody on the PNC Bankman number 9 and to get a 1-2 for Ganassi, and obviously huge there for Maya Shank as well.
Thanks, Scott.
Quick conversation with the boss, Alex Palou. This is not deja vu. 7 race wins already this season, man. You can do it all. Super speedway, short ovals. How are you feeling?
Speechless, honestly, speechless. It's been an unbelievable day, unbelievable weekend, but more than anything, an incredible year for us. I cannot really believe it, honestly, and winning here, it's super special. Like, I struggled on short ovals for so long. Today, although the strategy helped us a little bit there at the end when we're P3, we're still trying everything that we could, and that worked for us. So yeah, super happy getting another win, 7 wins in 1 year. It's insane. So yeah, cannot thank enough our partners, our team, and cannot wait to do it again.
And in terms of saving fuel, it seemed like you guys were able to. Some of them yellows came at difficult moments where it maybe was going to split strategy. Just talk about the relationship you have and the trust you have with your team.
Yeah, I mean, they gave me a crazy number. I was like, that either we need to give up our starting position, like our leading position, or we need to go fast and try and do another stop. So it ended up working very good for us. Always trusting 100% the team that I have in the 10 car.
Most wins for our team ever.
Is it?
In a year.
Nice.
Well, that's a nice moment he has with his team boss. Chip Ganassi, fantastic result, 1-2 today.
All right. I hope that I have the correct results up there, and I do not. So I did delete the wrong one. Just great. But with that being said, we will go over the results from the second race on Sunday. Obviously, your winner was Alex Palou, followed by Scott Dixon, Marcus Armstrong, David Malukas, Pato Award, Christian Lundgaard, Felix Rosenquist, Christian Rasmussen, Robert Schwartzman, and Joseph Newgarden round out your top 10. Then it was Jacob Abel, Renus VK, Kiffin Simpson, Louis Foster, Santino Ferrucci, Connor Daly, Alexander Rossi, Kyle Kirkwood, Graham Ray Hall, and Colton Herta round out your top 20, followed by Callum Ilott, Marcus Erickson, Stingray Robb, Will Power, Devlin DeFrancesca, Scott McLaughlin, and Nolan Siegel round out your 27 car field for Sunday's race. All right, let's take a look at the point standings. Obviously, I didn't have them up either, so I really hope I did not delete them. And obviously, I did. So we will skip the point standings for this evening, but we do have the most important thing that everybody tunes in every week to see, and it is the race picks. And ladies and gentlemen, what a tight stretch we have here. Myself, Josh, Michael, and Joy are all tied at 3 apiece. What a phenomenal stretch we're going to have with 5 races left to go, and everybody has 3 race wins. So interesting stretch we're going to have here, fellas, coming up with our race picks with just 5 races left to go.
Oh, definitely. I think from going forward, the next years, we're going to keep enacting this one time pick driver. So we can't keep picking the same drivers over and over. So I think it's going to be good. And I think Joy's running out of the favorites. So she's being caught slowly but steadily.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm kind of glad I still have a couple good drivers in my back pocket, but it's going to be interesting to see. I know we have a couple ovals coming up after Toronto, so I think I have a couple of bullets in the gun, they say.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to say the least. Anyone else have anything that they want to comment on or add before we close the book on the Iowa doubleheader and we turn the page to what we're going to witness and preview this coming weekend in Toronto? Anyone else have anything else to add?
I just had one extra thing to add. It had nothing to do with the main race, but this past weekend history was made. I don't know if either of you guys caught it. I told you about it. Miles Rowe, the first African American driver to ever win a Indy Next car race this past weekend, which, I saw some negative comments online. He's a driver. What's it matter about his color? You know what? In a lot of things, I'll talk about that. I'll agree with that. But in this particular case, we don't have a large contingency that I see of African American viewers, and if we can get somebody like that to maybe get up and make it onto one of the big car races, one of the main ones. Who knows? I mean, that could bring another type of viewership to our numbers to the series. So, but congratulations to Miles Rowe on having history made this weekend.
Yeah, you sent that out, and I thought that was really cool to see that. And super cool for him and his family. Just a different generational talent that's coming up, and be excited to see what he can do. It's kind of dethroned, Dennis Hauger there for a minute, so be interesting to see how Hauger comes back. But yeah, just. One big thing about this whole Iowa racetrack, and not promoting, one thing that, it doesn't directly affect IndyCar, but this lawsuit that, if you are a NASCAR follower, this lawsuit that 2311 and Front Row Motorsports have brought against NASCAR in their monopoly scheme. One of the things that 2311 and them are fighting for is because NASCAR is buying up these racetracks and they are not friendly to other organizations. So I know there's their legal action starts in December. So we'll have to see that could affect IndyCar as well. I know it's not been talked a lot about, but it could affect IndyCar as far as, could we get some tracks back or things like that.
Definitely worth watching to say the least as that unfolds. But we are turning the page to Toronto this weekend, and what better way to start previewing the race in Toronto than looking at what the weather, the most important thing when it comes to racing, what the weather's going to do, and none other than the official weatherman of the Push to Pass podcast joins us. Weatherman, hopefully you've got a good forecast for us this coming weekend.
Yeah, it's most of it's good, 2/3 of it. So big picture, I'm kind of watching two systems this week. So right now it's pretty hot out there in Toronto. So today and Wednesday, temps in the upper 80s, near 90s hot. And then we kind of get a little bit of luck that falls in our favor as far as timing goes, because the first system I'm watching is the cold front that should come through southern Ontario on Thursday. And what that does is basically clears everything out, gets some cooler air to filter in there, and then you're looking at Friday and Saturday temps really in a comfortable upper 70s. Maybe we'll get up to 80, but really nice. About as good of conditions as you could ask for, really. So those first 2 days look great. Then the question mark becomes the weather on Sunday. So that's the second system I'm keeping my eye on. And the timing on when that one arrives is still a little bit in flux. So right now, I'm kind of leaning more towards a morning to afternoon time frame where we might see some rain showers and perhaps a thunderstorm or two roll through. So that would still kind of keep it either pre-race or into the race window until we kind of get that timing solidified a little bit better. So for now, I think there's still at least a threat or a possibility of rain that could impact the race. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that as we move forward. And as we get closer and closer to Sunday, and then some of these other, I guess, atmospheric dominoes, right, fall into place, we should get a little bit of clarity on the timing and the extent of any impacts that would wind up taking place on Sunday. So bottom line, great weather Friday and Saturday, and then we got to keep an eye on the possibility of rain for Sunday.
All right, definitely going to be keeping our fingers crossed here. And as usual, Weatherman, if anything changes in between now and Sunday, where can people find that updated model forecast at?
Yeah, so I'll be posting on X, Blue Sky, and Threads. All pretty much the same products. And if you just jump in there and search IndyCar Weatherman, it should point you right to those forecasts.
All right. Good stuff as always. And like I said, everybody, if something does change in between now and Sunday, the Weatherman will be on it. Definitely go check out his socials. Weatherman, thank you for joining us, and we'll speak again here real soon.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Have a great night.
All right, good stuff there. Like I said, if the weather does change for some particular reason or another, please go check out the Weatherman socials for the most up-to-date, to-the-minute forecast. All right, getting into previewing the Ontario Honda Dealers Indy Toronto race coming up this Sunday. I ran out of time today. I know you guys are highly disappointed. Ran out of time. You don't get to see the cool headshots of the past winners, but I was able to get some of the graphics done. Here is what the layout looks like for people that may not be familiar with the streets of Toronto. This is going to be 90 laps, 160.74 miles. This is a tight 11 turn, 1.76 mile Expedition Place street circuit, which offers great views of downtown Toronto and often leads to cars attempting to squeeze past each other in turns. Many times only one car making it out unscathed. The long stretch, as you see on there, leading into Princess Gate at turn 1 and Lakeshore Boulevard straight leading into a hard 90-degree right-hand turn in turn 3 are the best places for overtaking. Also, that is what like I said, that's what the layout looks like. As for what the schedule is going to look like this weekend, let me load that graphic up for everybody, and we can take a peek as to what the schedule is going to look like this weekend. And as we wait for that graphic to pop up, I can go over the schedule if technology decides to work against us tonight. Looking at the schedule, obviously I cannot pull it up because we got you people out there that play video games. And specifically back in the early 2000s, and Josh may know what I'm talking about, with the old Xboxes, and you got the 3 Rings of Death. Well, that's what I'm getting trying to pull this graphic up. I'm getting just a circle. So, you know what? We're going to bypass the schedule this evening. So everything's going to get kicked off on Friday on FS2. That's the first practice at 3 p.m. And then early Saturday morning is going to be practice number 2. These are all on the first practice, is on FS2. Everything else is on FS1 and Fox. So practice 2 on FS1 at 10:30. Qualifying is going to start around 2:30 p.m. later that same day. Then we're going to get down to the warm-up on Sunday at 8:30, and then the race is going to get kicked off on Fox at noon. So that is what the schedule is going to look like for the weekend. Let's take a hot lap around with one of the fastest laps last year at the same Toronto race.
Just pitted. Work on the gap. Work on the gap.
All right, and that is what it looks like. One lap around the streets of Toronto that's going to be happening this weekend. Josh, I'm going to let you take lead on the betting segment this evening, and I do have a visual for you again. We're going to see if it works or not. Yes, it does. There we go. So that one did work. Like I said, Mike could not join us this evening. He had some travel plans that kind of got in the way. But the message I got from him, Josh, was bet Kirkwood and Herta or wait until qualifications and bet someone who qualifies in the top 3. McLaughlin 7-1 is nice unless you believe in the Penske curse. So this is what Mike sent out earlier. I was able to grab it and put it as a graphic. So kind of curious to get your thoughts on the initial betting lines for the Toronto race this weekend.
It's as I thought. Pelot's up there as the favorite, even though I do like 2.5 to 1 on Pelot. I mean, usually he's you're having to bet more than 100 just to win 100. So that's always a good one. I would definitely take him top 3, whatever. I don't know what his top 3 thing would be, but one that I'm looking at 10-1 on Pato Award. I mean, I know he's streaky, but he just won a race this past weekend, so I would I would probably put some shekels down on Pato before qualifications, just because he may qualify well at this track and end up you may not be able to get him at 10-1. I would probably fade Joseph Newgarden and Lundgaard, just my opinion. McLaughlin, He's had an up and down season, but 7-1, like Mike said, wouldn't be bad. So I'd put some money on Alex Palou to finish top 3. That's almost a guarantee in my opinion. And then if you got a little extra money, put some of those shekels, some rubles, some dinar, if you're in another country, on Pato Award.
Michael, anything you want to attempt to add here with the betting for this weekend?
Yeah, street course. I agree with Mike. Herta or Kirkwood. I think go back to Long Beach. I think Herta was probably the better car. Just kind of strategy wise moved up. I'm on the opposite side of Josh. I would not put money on Pato Award. His record here isn't great. I know he just won at Iowa, but totally different track. And honestly, if you were going to put any money on a Arrow McLaren car, I would put money on Lundgaard because he was pretty good at Long Beach and some of the other street courses this year. So those would be my takes. But yeah, Pato's not had. I think his best finish is 8th. At Toronto, so yeah, I wouldn't put a dime on him, but that's just me.
All right. Hopefully that helps everyone out with the betting aspect of the Toronto race this weekend. You can always go to Mike's social media. Obviously, he puts out great information right up to race day. So go check that out. All right. We got a couple more items of business to take care of before we get on out of here for this evening. Some interesting news, at least to me anyway, coming down yesterday, and it does have to do with a former Rookie of the Year. It does sound like with Nolan Siegel, his availability for this weekend's race in Toronto up in the air. Arrow McLaren has brought on former Rookie of the Year, somebody that we've seen a lot last year, didn't get a ride in 2025, but Linus Lundqvist is going to be, from all reports that I have found and gathered, Lundqvist will be traveling with Arrow McLaren on Thursday morning, and he will remain in Toronto either as a standby for Nolan Siegel if he's cleared, or as a reserve driver if Nolan Siegel is sidelined. So interesting. Linus Lundqvist, name just come out of nowhere, and he's going to potentially be driving for Arrow McLaren this weekend, and what that leads to in the future, who knows? But good to see Linus Lundqvist back on the series.
Yeah, good to see him. Always love to see a driver get a, as we would say, probably an audition, maybe, because with silly season, as Derik talks about coming up, maybe there's a seat that becomes available, and if Linus can get in there and get in the car, I know it's a long shot, but he can get in there and show some promise. Maybe he can land himself, if not a full ride, maybe a partial ride next year.
Yeah, I don't think this comes out of left field by any means. I mean, he was just in the car last year. The cars haven't really changed, just a different manufacturer. But he ran really well last year. Linus did a really good job. I know a lot of fans were shocked that he didn't get a ride for this year, and I was definitely one of those. So yeah, I'm not shocked by him. He's honestly probably one of the best drivers they could have got as a reserve driver to kind of fill in that role if need be. But hopefully, best wishes to Nolan. He's right there. He's building momentum, and then this happened. So it seems like it's always something. But yeah, hopefully he can recover well. And with those concussion symptoms, he has a mild concussion from what I read, and hopefully he can take care of himself. His health is more important than getting in a race car. So we've seen too many drivers have too many head injuries and try and rush back. So if he's not 100%, I'm sure Linus will do a good job filling in.
Yeah, I think Josh is absolutely right. Definitely could be a audition for Linus Lundqvist going into 2026. All right, last bit of news that came down just earlier today. It's kind of local. if you look at the grand scheme of things. But Ed Carpenter Racing announced that they're going to be relocating their operations to the city of Westfield, and that sounds like that whole state-of-the-art racing headquarters there in the Grand Park district is going to groundbreaking is expected in 2026, with the move fully implemented by 2027. So, guys, what do you make of Ed Carpenter Racing announcing today that they're moving from downtown Indianapolis or Speedway over to Westfield in Grand Park?
Doesn't surprise me. Westfield is a booming economy. It's a booming area. Grand Park has brought in a lot of spectators over the years. Especially with the Colts moving their training camp there, which starts here in about a week or so. So not a big shock. I would imagine the town of Westfield is probably giving Ed Carpenter Racing some sort of incentive to move their headquarters there, but not a surprise. And if they got the money, build it.
Well, one thing I'll say is they need to get the roads widened there on 191st Street before they start putting any more businesses in over there. I work over in that area, and man, the traffic is horrible in that area. But it's not too shocking to me. I was kind of shocked at the team, but Jay Howard's development team is right there in Westfield as well. So kind of branching out a little bit further from Indianapolis to bring some race teams up there. So I always enjoy. I work in the Westfield, Zionsville area, deliver some groceries. So anytime I'm over in that neck of the woods, I always like to go by Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan when I'm over in Zionsville. So it'd be cool to drive by Ed Carpenter Racing as well. So still trying to get a tour in over at Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan. So if anyone sees this video, I would appreciate them reaching out to us.
All right. Unless either one of you two have anything else that you want to discuss or cover this evening, I think that does it for this episode of the Push to Pass podcast. But before we get out of here, as always, we do need to thank two sponsors that have been there from day one. First and foremost, Always Ready 1776 for all your patriotic apparel, headwear, and more. Go check out Always Ready 1776 and go check them out on the web at alwaysready1776.com. If you do find something that you choose to purchase, make sure you use the promo code PUSHTOPASS to get 10% off of your order. That's Always Ready 1776. Also, a huge thank you to Gettum Associates for all your design and build and remodeling needs. Remember, it's Gettum Associates, and you can find them on the web as well at Gettum.com. If you do choose to use their services, use the promo code PUSHTOPASS for $250 off any design service. Huge thank you both to Always Ready 1776 and Gettum Associates for being proud sponsors of the Push to Pass podcast. Like I said, fellas, anything else, either one of you have anything else you want to cover or get to this evening? And I'm getting both shakes of the head. So with that being said, that does it again, like I said, for another episode of the Push to Pass podcast. First and foremost, huge thank you to everybody that tuned in live across all three platforms, Twitter, X, YouTube, and Facebook. Huge thank you to everyone for that. Huge thank you for the weatherman to stop by to give us what the Toronto forecast is going to look like this weekend. And then last but certainly not least, a huge thank you both to Josh and Michael, as always, for co-piling this show that we call the Push to Pass podcast. All right, we'll be back in 1 week's time to analyze, discuss, and review what we witnessed this past weekend in the streets of Toronto. Until then, so long, everybody.
The NTT INDYCAR Series is back on track.
Kirkwood down into pit lane, 2 turns on the front wing. He's going to be out and on his way.
Ericsson is the one that now is going to try to go to the bottom of Alex Palou, and Marcus Ericsson is going to be able to make
Final drive up Ontario Drive, left-hander of turn number 5.
cleanly through there. The power comes back down to turn number 6.
Listen to the NTT INDYCAR Series on the streets of Toronto, live this Sunday.